Hello, guys. Welcome back. Matthew here, your friendly neighborhood DM. I just wanted to show a little something here, a rule that I actually think a lot of people don't know about. I know I didn't, regarding proficiency. First, particularly because I cater to newer players and DMs. We're just going to do a quick review of what that means. So we're here on D&D Beyond, and I'll cite sources here as I see them. We're going to talk about proficiency bonus. Characters have a proficiency bonus determined by level, as detailed in Chapter 1. Monsters also have this bonus, which is incorporated into their stat blocks. The bonus is used in the rules on ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls. Your proficiency bonus cannot be added to a single die roll or other number more than once. For example, if two different rules say you can add your proficiency bonus, you can only choose one. Obviously, there was more written there. I just went ahead and completed what we both all knew it was going to say. So what does that mean? Well, if you remember the character sheet for our fighter that we made, it's now at level 6, and it has a proficiency bonus of 3. So in things that it's proficient in, you add your proficiency bonus. Pretty straightforward. But what you can do, and not all DMs have to allow this. This is an optional rule. I would like to go over that. Proficiency dice. This optional rule, replaces a character's proficiency bonus with a proficiency die, adding more randomness to the game and making proficiency a less reliable indicator of mastery. Instead of adding a proficiency bonus to an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, the character's player rolls a die. The proficiency die tables show which die or dice to roll as determined. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. To roll as determined by the character's level. Whenever a feature, such as a rogue's expertise, lets a character double his or her proficiency bonus, the player rolls the character's proficiency dice, the proficiency die twice instead of once. This option is intended for player characters and non-player characters who have levels, as opposed to monsters who don't. So this is not going to work for monsters. But this also shows the proficiency bonus table, as well as obviously the proficiency die table. So from levels 1 through 4, you're going to get a proficiency bonus of 2. From level 5 through 8, that's going to be 3. Through 9 to 12, that's going to be 4. 13th to 16th, that's going to be 5. And then 17th all the way to 20th, that's going to be 6. So those are your static proficiency bonuses, and that's the standard. That's what people use. But what this is saying, you can forego that proficiency bonus, and instead of taking that +2, you can roll a d4. So basically what you've been doing, if you've been playing and taking proficiency bonuses, you've been taking the average. So if you look here, 1st to 4th level +2, that's a d4. So half, an average would be 2. +3 would be a d6, average is 3. +4 is a d8, average is 4. +5 is a d10, and so on. So all the way up to d12. I like this rule. I enjoy this rule. Keep in mind, if you want to use this rule through D&D Beyond, you're going to have to do some math. And that's okay, because it's pretty simple. So what you would have to do, and we're just going to go over here to my characters. My players probably shouldn't look too hard at some of the names, but we haven't really started, so don't worry too much about it. And here is our old friend, Zoraruk, who is now level 6. Hey! So let's say something we're proficient in. Obviously, our long sword. We're proficient in using our long sword. So what does this mean if we decide we want to use proficiency dice instead of the bonus? Well, we are going to look here and see, okay, it's +8 to hit. Well, we're not going to use the bonus, which is +3. So that would mean we would roll a d6 instead. So simply what we would do is we'd subtract 3 from 8. So 7, 6, 5. So 5 plus our roll plus a d6. So what we're going to do is you would have to do this manually. There's no other really do this. So you're going to roll a d20 and a d6. It's going to add it up for you. That's an 18. Okay. And then you're going to add, instead of adding plus 8, we're going to add +5 because you're still adding your strength modifier. You're just not adding your proficiency bonus. So it's +5. And so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So if you want to do this a little more simply, the easier way to look at it is ignore this. I realize you can't see what I'm doing. Ignore this. And simple, I would like to use my proficiency dice instead. This is a strength-based weapon, so +5. So what you could probably do, see if it'll do this. Yep. Simply select where it says +5 on your strength, and it'll roll a die and add your strength modifier as a strength check. So roll 16. And then you would just have to roll a d6 manually. So 16 plus a d6, 17. So you actually would have done it by taking the average on that one. But that's how that works. For anything else, kind of the same thing, because if you're proficient in it, you just have to know which modifier you're using. So let's say we're doing an animal handling check and you want to use your proficiency die. Okay. So what you're going to do is go, okay, so this is using my wisdom modifier. So we're going to go over here to your wisdom. We're going to roll d20. We got an 8. So that's going to be a 10. And then we're just going to roll our proficiency die, which is a d, and then add the 2. You got a 6. So that's a 16. Whereas if you took the average on that one, you would have gotten a 13. So that's how proficiency dice work. It's very cool. I enjoy using it. Obviously, you don't have to allow it at your table because if you are a DM, what you decide is what you decide. As long as your players enjoy it, what you decide is what you decide. Keep in mind, folks, this only applies to what you are proficient in, hence the word proficiency die. So, just to clarify, as far as skills for this character, that would be anything with the black dot in it. And then obviously, assuming you're using a weapon you're proficient in. So yeah, guys, that is how that is working. Let me know in the comment sections what you think about that optional rule and whether or not you would like to use it, or if you're DM, whether or not you allow it at your table. I'd be interested to know. Again, guys, thanks for joining me and good luck adventuring.